Okay, guys, so when you start your cherry tree picture on your iPod, you're going to wake your iPod up, okay, by hitting the home button if it's not already awake. Then you go to the Art 1 folder and you click on the Art 1, and there are all these different apps in here. Now, this one's DoodleBuddy with the blue line. You might have used it before in class. So, when you open it up, it'll take a second. Now we have to make the background. You actually, when you make pictures on the iPod, you actually start from the very far back and then you work your way forward. And here's what I mean. You're going to take your iPod and we're going to make the sky first, because even though the sky is on the background, or the sky is the background, we're going to make sure that we don't have to color in around stuff, so it'll look a little bit neater. So I pick my brush, and I pick the color blue, and I'm going to make my brush, and I move my brush back and forth by moving that little handle. I want to make it big, and I hit draw. And the first thing I'm going to do is just color in my background. Now, the reason I do that is so I can draw on top of that, and I don't have to worry about coloring around things later. Now, here's the other thing. This is my undo button. If I click that, it'll undo one step. See how it undid that? Okay, and there's my brush. These other things you don't need to worry about for right now. Now, next thing I need to do is make my ground that my tree is growing in. So I take my brush and I'll make my brush a little smaller, and I'll pick green. And I didn't pick the dark green, I picked the medium green. And there's my grass that it's growing in. Now, the next thing I'm going to make is my tree. To make my tree, guys, to make a tree, it's very easy. All you have to remember is large, medium, small. And here's what I mean. I'm going to change my color to brown for my tree bark, okay? And I make a long line or a large line. Now, to make a tree, you make a line like that, and see how it goes from the blue onto the green? And then I make little curvy lines at the bottom. And there's the trunk of my tree. Okay? Now, the next thing I'm going to do is take my brush and make my brush a little smaller. So there's my large, here's my medium, here's my small. Remember I was saying large, medium, small? And on each one of those branches now, I'm going to make a large, medium, small. So this one's my large one now. Now I'm going to make a medium and a small. See how that looks like a branch? Yeah. And then now here's my large, here's my medium, here's a small. Oh, that's really small. And there's my small. There's my large, medium, small. So there's my tree. Now, I'm not going to make my cherry blossoms yet, because really the pink are the blossoms coming out of the branches. I'm going to make the Washington Monument, that thing that looked like the rocket ship in the background. So I'm going to change my brush color to white. And now back here, off in the background, there's my rocket ship, my Washington Monument. And it's got a point at the top, and it comes down, and it's flat. Okay? It's really just a big triangle. Okay? And if it's not perfect...
So you can just make a triangle?
Yes, you can just make a triangle. So there's my Washington Monument in the background. Now, to make my cherry blossoms, I'm going to pick the color pink, and pink is up here. I'm going to make my brush a little smaller. And guys, to make my cherry blossom, it's pretty easy. All I do is this. Dot, 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 dot. Oh, did it change to pink? I don't think it did. That's okay, because you know what? Sometimes there are white blossoms in there too. So I'm just going to put a lot of dots. It's going to look like snow. And then I'm going to change to pink. Ah, there's pink. Okay? So I'm making dots. I'm not making slashes like that. I did my undo button. I make pink. Okay, so I'm going to fill this whole thing in with pink. and white. And if I get bored of doing pink, then I'll go grab some more white. And I'll do some white, more white on it to brighten it up. And then I'll make it kind of go out here a little bit. And then I'll go back to pink. And then I'll paint pink a little bit. There's a different kind of pink. More of a purpley pink. And that's fine. Because when you look at the blossoms are all different colors. Okay, does that make sense? And see how it looks like a peach, not a peach tree, a cherry tree. Now, to save my picture, I click on this little wrench down here in the corner, and then I hit save. This middle one says save to photo album. Now, you guys I know can read the word save, so I click on there. And now, if it says, it told me it saved it into my photos, and to go find it, now I click on my flower, and it's in my photo album, and there it is. And the reason you want it in your photo album is because then I'll take it, and I'll take your pictures and put them on my computer, and I'll print them out. So we'll be able to print these out.
Cool.
Okay? All right. So when I collect your stuff, you'll get your iPod and we'll get going.